There are going to be a lot of tools that you're going to use to help you become a pilot. But by far, this is the most valuable tool, the MVP of everything that's really going to throw you over the edge and help you become a pilot as quickly as possible. Let's get into that thing. Let go! Hey, the moment you decide to become a pilot, you're going to start to be bombarded with a bunch of different resources that you can potentially use to help get you to the finish line. And if you're not too careful, you can end up spending a lot of unnecessary money on things that you do not need and that will not actually help you become a pilot. That's why you want to focus on a lot of the things that we talk about on this channel. There's videos dedicated to the finances of how you can save the most money, the cheapest and fastest way to become a pilot, all on this channel right here. Links at the end of this video, where them links be at. But one of the most valuable tools that you will inevitably use over and over again, not just to become a pilot, but even after you're already a pilot, you're going to use it again and again. It's going to be the gift that keeps on giving to you throughout your pilot journey. And that one simple thing is a tabbed out version of the 4-aim. Notice we emphasis on tabbed out version. This is very key, and it's a very helpful tool to help you in your pilot journey. First, let's talk about what the 4-aim is, just in its most simplistic form. It's going to be one of the books that you're going to be given in the very beginning, or be asked to buy in the very beginning, because you're not going to be given anything, but asked to buy this book. And once you purchase it, you're going to look at this big, massive book that looks like this thick. And you're going to have a tendency to think to yourself, I have to read all of that cover to cover and know everything that's inside this book just to become a pilot? And the answer to that is no, you don't. But one thing you do want to know is where to find things in this book as quickly as possible and how to use it as a reference point. Think about one of the keys on your check ride. Your check ride is going to be an oral portion. That oral portion is going to be open book. So you're going to be able to use this book just like you would in any other academic setting on an open book test. But if you don't know where to find things inside the book, then the book just becomes useless. This is almost like a useless paperweight if you don't know where to find something. It's just literally like 1,200 pages of just nonsense that you know nothing about and know where to find anything, simply because you didn't take the time to become familiar with it. So that's why investing in a tabbed out version is going to help you become familiar with all the material that's in here, and then be able to use it as a quick reference as soon as possible. Just think for one moment, you're in the middle of your oral check ride portion with your DPE, and they ask you a specific question, maybe about, what's the minimum equipment requirement for your aircraft, and you're thinking to yourself, 8 flame flap, I'm trying to remember acronym, I don't remember, blah blah blah, and then you just pop open your 4-aim and you look at the tab section, and you can immediately go right to it and be able to kind of understand what that information is. That's the value of having it tabbed out and ready for you. There are many different brands and websites out there that offer the tab version of the 4-aim. I highly recommend that you invest in that. Whenever the new version of the 4-aims come out, pretty much get yourself familiar with that. Probably going to be released more like the end of this year. Be on the lookout for that 2023, so you can get yourself acclimated to something that's going to help you along the way. It's really going to get you inside the information of, oh, I can quickly reference something. You can buy these tabbed out versions. They can be available to you, maybe green tabbed out for those that are on the private or going for that private, red if you're going for the instrument, or various others if you're going for the commercial, or you're going for any other type of rating. It's all there for. It's going to help you get familiar with this book. But not just this book, but we really should say 2 books, because that's what it really is when you're talking about the 4-aim. The 4-aim, not only are you talking about the 4 part, which is the Federal Aviation Regulations, but you're also talking about that aeronautical informational manual as well. 2 books in one. That's why it can be very intimidating, and that's why it's so long and lengthy, and that's why it can be hard to find things unless you get everything tabbed out ahead of time. highly recommended that you invest in a tabbed out version of the 4AIM. Lego! Boom! So one of the first questions you may ask yourself is, these companies that you're buying this from, this tabbed out version of the 4AIM, how exactly do they know which information to tab? How do they know what's valuable for you and what you should focus on versus what you shouldn't focus on when studying? Very easy. If you ever get yourself a 4AIM, go to the very beginning of this 4AIM and you're going to see a suggested study list for particularly which rating that you are going for. If you're going for a commercial or a instrument or a private rating, it's going to give you a suggested study list. And it's basically telling you step by step, study these parts in this book. Don't worry about the thick book and everything else. Focus on just these parts and it'll help you get to your rating. And that's exactly what these companies are going through and tabbing out all of those sections for you, where it's nice and clear what everything is and easy to reference. So they're using what's already suggested in the book as the reference. They're not just pulling this out of the sky and doing things that they think are best. They're putting the material that's already suggested for you, of course, in the 4AIM itself. That's what makes it even more valuable to you. The benefits of owning one of these tabbed out 4AIMs: it can help improve your memory. It can help you quickly reference and locate information. It can also increase your confidence. Just think about it. Again, if you don't know where something is, that's perfectly fine. We're pilots. We're not omni-knowing about any and everything. But when we have this kind of reference material where if we don't know on hand, but we can quickly look it up, just think about what happens to your confidence in any given situation if you can quickly look something up. This is why you need a tabbed out version of the 4AIM. And don't just settle for the fact that it's already tabbed out for you. Take it upon yourself. You can add your own personal notes to this as well, which makes this tool even more valuable and even more powerful. For example, let's just say you're looking up something in regards to airspace. Very common knowledge that, of course, we must know as pilots. So you want to double check something regarding a certain airspace. Boom, you look at the tab right there. Oh, that's airspace. Immediately, boom, I went right to it. And then as you started reading through your 4AIM and digesting that information, reminding yourself of a few things, you may have a few personal tricks that you like to use about airspace as well, particularly something when it comes to something like, 152, when you're thinking about what those type of visibility and clearances must be. How do you easily remember that? Maybe you got a little trick in your mind where you think about, 152, I remember those numbers because I need 3 Cessna 152s. That's how I remember those numbers in sequence there to get me where I need. You can write that down in the margin as your own little personal rhyme trick or something that you use to remember numbers and to remember sequences that you must understand and must know. This is the value of this. So now you've taken something that's already been tabbed out for you and easy to reference and easy to understand, and then you've added your personal notes on top of that that helps you remember things. Think about how valuable this becomes. This is the MVP of the league, baby. The MVP of the NFL, the MVP of the NBA, the MVP of your pilot journey. Ultimately, what this tabbed out 4AIM does, it saves you on your most valuable asset in life. Time. Less time looking up things and more time learning. Anytime that you can save time, you should do it. It's your most valuable asset, and once it's gone, it's gone. You cannot get it back. So take from this video that you want to invest in a tab 4AIM if you don't already have one, and make that as part of your reference. Again, even after you're already a pilot, you're going to be referencing this book for many, many years to come. And you're going to be getting different versions, different iterations as it goes along. So if you look at that cost over time that you're spending for just the tabbed out version, it's invaluable to you. And this is the most valuable studying tool when becoming a pilot. Subscribe to the channel.